Hey everyone, Andrew here, and today I'm going to be doing a video comparison between the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4. So to start off my comparison between the two phones, I'm just going to give you some quick specs. First, both the colors of the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4 come in black and white, and before that they lowered the prices so that because the iPhone 4S came out, it came in 8GB, 16GB, and 32GB for all of them. That's the capacities. And then the connection, you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 2.1, you have your Edge and 3G, GPS, and a built-in compass. And the built-in compass came out when the 3GS came out, so that was probably the biggest feature of the 3GS. And so some specs about the display: they each have a 3.5-inch display. The iPhone 4 probably has a big upgrade in the display, and it's really good. The camera on the 3GS is a 3 megapixel, and the camera on the iPhone 4 is a 5 megapixel with a flash, and I'll be getting more into that soon. And the battery is about 7 hours on the 3GS and 9 hours on iPhone 4. It's not what it says on the website, but that's just from regular testing, what I think it should be at, and that's about what I get every day. So those are just some quick specs, and so now let's get further into it. Now let's go more in depth with the display. On the iPhone 3GS, the display is 3.5 inches, like I said before, as is the iPhone 4. It has a 480 by 320 pixel resolution, which it adds up to about 163 pixels per inch. It has an oleophobic coating on the front, which basically gets rid of the fingerprints, and it is multi-touch, of course. And I just want to show you get a little closer and do it so you can see. Kind of hard to see right now, but as you can see, it's pretty pixely. When you see the iPhone 4, it'll be a lot different. So that is that, and now let's move on to iPhone 4. You also have a 3.5-inch display, and it's now dubbed the Retina display. It is a 960 by 640 pixel resolution display with oleophobic coating on the front and back, since both sides are glass, and it is multi-touch as well. Now let's take a closer look at it, and as you can see, it's a lot more clear. So that is going more into the depth in display, and let's go on to the camera. About the cameras, on the iPhone 3GS, you have a camera that is 3 megapixels, which I said before. It has VGA video recording, and you can either autofocus or tap to focus, which basically you just tap the screen on what you want to focus to, and it will focus to that. The video recording isn't bad for a phone, but I prefer it on the iPhone 4 a lot better, and it's a lot better just because it's HD and it looks a lot nicer. So now let's move on to iPhone 4's camera. As I've already said before, it has HD video at 720p. The back-facing camera is 5 megapixels with autofocus and tap to focus, and it also has now a newly added, just show you real quick, has a newly added camera flash, which is actually really nice for taking pictures, and I really enjoy using it. It has a front-facing camera, which is actually new to the iPhones in general, because before the iPhone 4 there was no front-facing camera, and it's actually made a lot more phones, such as Android phones, have front-facing cameras, so that's pretty cool. It's just a VGA camera just for video calling, or if you want to just mess around it, and it has a 480p video capture. So that is my review on the cameras, and now let's move on. Let's move on to the external stuff of each phone. So everything's pretty much the same. As you can see, you have the 30-pin dock connector and the microphone and speaker. You have the home button on the front, and you have the two speaker phones. You have the volume buttons, which they separated them in this one, and you have your profile switcher. On the top, this is where it gets a little different. There's no longer the SIM card input thing right there. It's used right up here on the 3GS, but it's been moved to the side on the iPhone 4, which is actually a better placing for it. You have the sleep-wake button, and for the 30-pin dock connector, the headset jack, it now has a dual microphone. So now you have one on the bottom and on here for noise cancellation. Also, another thing I should mention is that this whole band is actually the antenna, as you can see with the slits right here. It had a problem with it, which I'm going to move on to later in this video, but that's how they integrated the antenna. On the back, you can see they added a flash, and the camera has been improved, and it is now glass and metal on the iPhone 4, whereas it was plastic with glass. And so that's pretty much all the differences between the two and how they look. I think the iPhone 4 looks a lot nicer and more classy than the plastic 3GS, but they're both good phones. But yeah, also there's a VGA camera, which I've already mentioned. So that's everything with external, and let's talk about some of the problems. So there's only been one problem with between each device, and it's been on the iPhone 4, which is kind of sad since it was such a great phone. But it's something called antenna gate, and with the new design of the antenna, it actually brought some problems because when you hold it like this, as you can see, my bars will start to go down. Takes a while sometimes, but it usually goes down. As you can see, it just lost a bar. And if I hold it long enough, I can get it to lose service. Let's just see if it goes down one more bar. Alright, that's like all it's going to get to, but before, when I was starting this video, I had about 4 bars, and it's not that big of a deal. I mean, some people took it as a really big deal, and they wanted their money back and stuff. I just kind of kept it since all I need, once you put a case on it, or you have like a guard on it, it works fine. So that's pretty much all the problems. I couldn't find any like big problems with the iPhone 3GS, and that's the biggest problem with the iPhone 4, which is it was talked about a lot. So that is all the problems between the two devices. Now let's do some speed tests. Let's show off the processor a little bit and see which one performs better. I should mention that it could be a little off because this one has service. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I have seen that the iPhone 3GS has performed better in a little bit of areas, and that might be because it has the service, or maybe I have more apps, I'm using more memory, I don't know. But let's just go ahead and just open up Angry Birds on each of them. See which one loads up first. And as you can see, the iPhone 3GS loaded up first, and I do not know why this is. Usually my phone is a little faster, but for some reason, sometimes the 3GS outperforms it, and that's Angry Birds. Now let's do a quick Safari test. Wait, let that load up real quick, and then we'll just refresh both the pages. This is my YouTube page, so let's just refresh both. Oh, whoops. Alright, that wasn't accurate. Let's try that again. Alright, and they're both off. So it looks like the 3 just went off again with it. I don't know why. I'm thinking it's the service, but let's just, I don't know. So for the last test, I just want to do a quick turn it off and see which one comes on first. I'm going to bring out my iPod Nano for this one so that you guys can just get a timer on this. So let's reset it. Turn each of them off. Alright, so I have a timer right here set at 0 seconds. Let me show you. I'm just going to set it off to the side right here so you can just see it real quick. Have it focus on that. Alright, so now we're going to turn both of these back on once they're both off. It does take a while for them to turn off because everything's all loaded up and everything. But they are both off now, so let me wait for this to refocus real quick. I don't know why it keeps getting out of focus. And we're going to turn both of them on real quick, and I'll bring it up to screen. So as you can see, the iPhone 3 just turned on again, which I'm thinking is because of the service. It stopped at about 43 seconds. And it comes off to the iPhone 4, which is at 50 seconds. So that is the speed test of both of them. As you can see, the iPhone 3GS was a little faster, probably because of the result that it doesn't have service on it. So that is my speed test of both the devices, and let's move on to pricing and where you can get one of these. So finally, let's talk about pricing. The 3GS is going to cost you $1, which I have right here, so I'd be able to pick up another one if I was off contract and I was eligible for an upgrade, because I'm pretty sure it costs a little more if you're off contract. But yeah, if you're starting a new contract and you just want to get a new phone, 3GS is only $1, and the iPhone 4 is starting at $100 with a contract. And so the carriers for the 3GS and the 4 are, you can get them on AT&T. But with the 4, you have the new option for Verizon. So that is the pricing and where you can get them. And that is the end of my video. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe.